following Dr. Feelgood. Backstab tonight on 7.
In the goal square, two players.
Phillips and Evans. They've both gone to ground. Freddie Phillips gets up holding his head. Tim Evans goes away holding his head. They must have both got hit by a bolt of lightning. They're both holding their head.
Well, Ted, there wasn't another player to within 50 metres of them, and
Tim Evans is spilling claret. So's Freddie Phillips.
Most extraordinary.
Ebert into the forward line. He's going to bounce his way in. Takes the kick. Ebert, Phillips in late. There'll be a foul after disposal kick. And Freddie Phillips, by gee, he won't earn the first words of John Nichols after that one, because this could set up almost a certain goal for Ivan Eckerman. He's only 25 metres out.
Fred Phillips has gone down to the forward line.
Sorrell's tap away is grabbed by Kimmy Hodgman. On the lead, Fred Phillips, right into the chest it goes. Fred's no stranger to the lead and the pass. Started at full back and switched to full forward during the second term. Three-point advantage so far to Glenelg. Freddie Phillips' kick makes it a 9-point advantage with his first goal. Glenelg, 12 goals, 6 lead, Port Adelaide, 10 goals, 9. The pass from Hodgman to the leader of Phillips was good. Took the mark and then made no mistake with the kick.
And of course our featured player in that footage there, none other than Fred Phillips, champion Glenelg player, Magarey medalist 1969, kicked 100 in 5 seasons. Not in 5, didn't take him 5 seasons to kick 100, he kicked 100 in 5 separate seasons. And he's our special guest today. Welcome, Fred.
Thanks, John.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Now, what did happen down there in that goal square?
Well,
the true story.
The goal square, as you know, is not very big, and people are bound to clash. And
he's listing up above square now.
yeah, they're bound. Someone says, "Well, go to the goal square, and that's where you stay." You're going to bump into someone sooner or later. You know?
Look, yeah, that's that. I've heard other versions. We'll leave it there. We really wanted to ask you about your glory days as a full forward. You would have felt the pressure. Tony Modra having problems at the moment. How hard is it to be that focal point of a team? Obviously, the adulation from the fans, the club. How do you cope with that? How did you cope with it?
I mean, obviously not to the same extent that Modra's got now, but it is a pressure knowing that you've got to kick goals every week, week in, week out. You know, maybe you know the better teams are going to perform better when you've got more avenues of attack. But where you're getting a coach that's focusing on on one particular forward, yeah, it does put a hell of a lot of pressure on.
Well, Mods is saying he's not having a private life. Were you affected the same way?
Well, if he stayed at home, he might have a problem.
But I mean, were the fans out there wanting to see and be with you every minute of every day? Was it?
Yeah, but surely it's up to the player that he can control how much he gets into it, or he doesn't. He doesn't have to go out and answer everything that every call, every phone call, every whim from a supporter or some of the patrons.
What about his style? What do you think as a former full forward? What do you think of him as a full forward?
Well, I think he's. I mean, he's perfectly built for a full forward. You know, he's quick. He's got an excellent mark, a good kick.
Do you see him just playing back in the square too much, waiting for that big mark?
Absolutely. You know, there's only one thing that you can do: go and get the ball. Don't wait for it to be kicked to you. And one other thing is that I think he probably flies from behind too much, and you get a lot of players that think they're good kicks and aren't coming into you, and the ball drops short. Well, if you're behind, you know, where does it leave you? You see the full back running down, picking up the ball, running down towards centre, and disappearing in the distance, and it leaves you nowhere. You must be playing in front, and if there's a chance to take overhead marks, then you do it then. But you must be in front of your man, and you must be go and get the ball. Don't wait for it.
You won a car last year taking a mark from behind. He might be going for the 2-car garage or something.
He might, but if he keeps playing that way, he's not going to be in there for long, is he?
No.
Fred, just going back to your early days, I know when I went to the Bay, you were playing at centre-half back. But the year before, or possibly 2 years before that, your father didn't want you to play league football at 17 years of age, and I believe he hid your football boots on.
Yeah, that's true. And he opposed getting in, at an early age and getting beaten up by some of the bullies of the game.
Was that his reason?
I think so.
Just feared
Too
for
young.
for this little fella, this small little bloke.
I was 15 at that stage, and he was, always wanted to make a point that I should be playing maybe for the reserves or the seconds for a bit longer to get some experience. But as it turns out, there's no better experience than league football, and that's where you should be.
And Fred, you played with the Graham Corns. We all sort of know him now in the last 10 or 15 years as the coach of the Crows. But you played with him when he was younger than you. What was he like as a player on the field?
No, he's older than me.
He's older than you.
Not what he said.
What was he like actually as a player in a team?
Well, I'm glad they brought in moulded souls, because my back was a ruin there for a while. You'd find it playing full forward, he'd always like to have his mark on the ball too, so he was always a very good mark. He was uncontrollable off the field, I think. For a coach like Curly to control him is a hell of a handful. He'd always get dressed last. He'd want to be last on the field because of some paranoia that he had with that. He's a fierce competitor and will never say die. I think he's probably still that way now.
Well, coming into the future, the Crows themselves, how do you see the team and their future?
I think it's pretty tough. It could be summarised by a cab ride I had in Melbourne not too long ago, when the cab driver said, "You're from Adelaide?" And I said, "That's right." He said, "I had Bill Sanders in the cab last week, just before they played the Eagles." He said, "How do you think they'll go?" He said, "I don't think they're going to win at all." He said, you don't think they'll win?" He said, "No, I don't think they will." Now, that is with that attitude, the Crows are never going to get off the ground if you've got a manager with that attitude. It starts there. I think the senior players have let the club down and let the coach down. I think there's looking at some of the footage of the films, you've got players running up and down the one spot. They should have been off the field, and they shouldn't be in the side anyway. I think that's their problems. I think there's problems with even the board of the club, that it's not necessarily the coach that needs to cop the full shot. There's obviously someone that loads the bullets before you fire the trigger, and you go through that board, and the match committee. There's got to be people on there look at themselves, and quite frankly, if they're going to put a Victorian coach in and think about that, then why don't we go the whole way and say, let the board resign, stick a Victorian board in there. Ooh. If they feel that way, right, let's get on with it. Don't play around.
So they're actually going to shoot themselves with those bullets?
Well, they could do,
All right, controversial
I
stuff.
think there's, and I think it goes a long way. If they were really serious about the full event and the rest of the season, they should be in Melbourne this weekend. Not just for this year, but for the younger players that need the experience from years to come. Go and have a look at two teams playing. They get a bye. What are they doing? They're probably having a picnic up in the parkland somewhere. Nothing's organised.
Training.
Training's no big deal, like girls, is it? It's not a special event.
Players love it.
You've got a manager that's had a week on holidays, and there's only 2 weeks to go before the end of the year. You've got a board that's probably and people saying, well, we're not serious about the rest of the year. So what about the 40,000 fans that are going to turn up and going to pay the money?
Yeah.
Are you going to say to the 40,000 fans, look, we're not really serious about the rest of the year. We take it, we've had a bad year, and we're going to give up now? I mean, to me, I'm not built that way. I don't think Curls is either, but that's the message that I seem to get coming through.
Do you think
I'm only a supporter, I'm an observer.
Do you think their focus perhaps is on something outside just winning football games, which really is what a football team's all about?
I think the horse is bolted. I think during the year, the downturn started, I think, about half-time in the Essendon match last year, when some of the players thought they were in the grand final, saw themselves in the ticker tape parade, and the game was blown because of just experience and people not getting them to do the right thing. Carry on from that. I think some of the Crows players, with the marketing that goes on, they're eating pies, they're dressed in suits, they're doing this and doing that. I think some of their heads are, about the size of a full-grown watermelon. And I don't think that they can handle that marketing ability and play football as well. You don't see people in Melbourne getting excited to the extent of losing the plot. I think this year, they've lost a lot of direction, and they're concentrating on things off-field, and it could be for the marketing arm, I don't know. But they've lost the plot and what they're there for, and that's to play football. Now I think they've probably woken up that, the fun and games aren't all a part of it, and they should really get down the guts of playing football.
Is it a syndrome of the one team in one town?
I think it's a syndrome of, quite frankly, maybe inexperience in management, or maybe it's inexperience or lack of knowledge on the effect it's had on the players, and that's directly within the club. And not only the coach, I don't think the coach has not necessarily got much to do with the marketing side of it, but somebody in there should be saying, look, too much time's been spent with these guys, concentrating on other things and not getting down the tin tacks. And I think it's far too late, you know, to say you lose 6 matches, blame the coach. You know, just a bit more than that. It goes right back to the board and to the match committee. You know, the match committee, you've got, you know, let's face it, there's some guys on there that should be, you know, in wheelchairs. You know, they're a bit old and...
Fred, that'll do.
Quite frankly, you know, they do need people that are up with today's events, not shadows of the past.
The amazing thing is, you play football, you win the games, the rest happens. It doesn't work the other way around, does it?
Absolutely not. You know, and that's football.
Well, no doubt a lot of that will filter back to the club, and some sensational stuff there from Fred Ferguson. We thank him for coming in. Thanks, Fred. We'll go to a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
The next segment of the program is brought to you by Ultratune and Balfours.
Well, there's this sort of whistle coming from under the bonnet.
A whistle?
Yeah.
What, like...
No, it's more...
Oh,
Yes, that's it.
What seems to be the problem then?
Well, it, well, you know, kind of squeals.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you got to slow down and,
Yeah?
well, it goes...
Well, that's a squeal, all right. Sounds like brakes. What I'd like to do
Ultratune, in tune with you and your car.
Tony Modric takes another screamer for the Crows. Tregenza handballs to McGuinness, who kicks long to Hall, and the Crows are hungry for this one. Down he goes, but clears the ball. Tregenza handballs a whopper to McGuinness. Jarman pushes it out to Liptak, but stolen beautifully by Bickley. They're on it now, and they're calling for more as McDermott passes to McGuinness. The Crows are tasting victory, and McDermott slams another one down. The Crows are home. They've made a feast of this, yet Hungry Jacks and the Adelaide Crows are winning team once again.
For the Camry Crows to play like a well-oiled machine, every one of us plays his part. Same with your Toyota. Genuine Toyota parts guarantee top performance. You've got to support the team that supports the Camry Crows.
Here we go, what a feeling, Toyota!
It's sale time at Foodland, so mark this week's mighty savings. With Kraft Singles, special savings at $2.69. VO5 shampoo or conditioner, mighty low at $1.99. Sorbent toilet rolls, great value at $2.29. Golden canola margarine, super low at 99 cents. Nanda pasta, a great buy at 89 cents. And Schweppes or Woody soft drinks, way down at $1.59.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah!
Morning, Rosa. Morning, Rosa.
Good morning. How are you?
How about a tosher for it? Oh, yeah? Sounds fair. There is an alternative to a brand new Toyota. A used Toyota from the Adelaide team of Toyota dealers. It's almost as good as a newie. You gotta support the team that supports the Camry Crows.
Here we go, what a feeling, Toyota! If we could have it all over again. Oh, Balfours, you've been so good for me. All the things that we would do, I'll never get over you, 'cause you thrill me. Every night, every day, you thrill me. Balfours, you help make my day, you thrill me. Oh, Balfours, I need you today, 'cause you thrill me.
Starting tonight, the perfect recipe for fun.
Did you miss us?
Take 10 true blue guys.
Let's do it.
150 red-blooded women, and the party never stops.
Go get 'em, girls!
Then it's from brawn to brains.
Haven't they done a t-shirt for you? No, they made toilet paper for me, Dad.
Join the Mulray Revolution at 8:30.
They're the questions you've always wanted to ask.
What I know about sex, you could write on a pinhead with a 6-inch nail.
Completely unrehearsed, but always interesting. Dr. Feelgood after Mulray and all-new Man O' Man tonight.
Yes, folks, welcome back, and it is time for the Chairman's Wheel. I can hear the music, and that means I can start to feel Nikki. Welcome. Now, just hang on. There is a little pimple in there. Have a look, have a look. You're also always perfect, but have a look at that, folks, a close-up on that. I've spotted one right there. Welcome. Sorry about that.
There's a little pimple here too,
Very
Max.
good. OK, now, on the show today, we have... You what? We'll pop it in a minute, all right? Now, on the show today, we've got some marvellous prizes. Let's have a look, Nikki, at what's up for grabs. And this is a ripper. I'm going to Queensland for my holidays this year. Compliments of Ansett Airlines, and what we have for a trip today to Sydney or Melbourne, wherever you'd like to go, flying at Ansett, one of the great sponsors of the Crow Show, the Adelaide Crows. In fact, anything they can get into is, I think that's enough of a plug. Nick, what have you got?
I think so. I've got Coca-Cola. You can have a mountain of their products, whether it be Coke, Diet Coke, Lift, whatever you can stagger away today with 20 cases of Coke. A big drink, and see David Raggett and Kevin Turnbull at Coke. They know all about the big drink.
They certainly do. Now, I'll tell you what, Nikki, when we go out on our nights off together, this is the only place to go. La Casalinga Restaurant on Unley Road. Very, whether it's just Nikki and I or our friends, a group of us. Now, you can have $500. Now, $500, that's a pretty big night out. Nikki and I would only get to about 80. Now, Enzo, Maria, everyone there at La Casalinga, fantastic food in Unley Road. And you never know, you might see Nick and I there one night.
Or when we play sports together, Max. What about when we play sports together?
Get on with the run.
You can have $500 worth of gear from Rowan Jarman. You could win a $500 voucher to spend on anything from their huge range of sporting equipment and clothing, thanks to Rowan Jarman.
Well, on the Chairman's Wheel, Nick, we have to have a contestant.
And we've got Bob Tyndall.
Bob, I thought it was Bob Down. Sorry about that, Bob, but I had to slip it in. Bob, welcome. Very well.
Thanks.
Now, you have a favourite number. Quick kiss for Nick. We always like our contestants to get. It's very good. Your favourite number?
Number 9.
Number 9, and that is Tony Hall's.
Tony Hall's number.
Yes, we don't like to talk about Tony too much because he's contracted to another television station. So
sorry about that.
Could we whack it on 10, Chris McDermott? Would that be all right?
That'll be
we don't want to give Tony Hall any publicity, actually.
That's
so
okay.
We'll whack it on. He didn't kick 4 goals last week. Now, give it a spin, please, Bob. Big spin. Not so big, Bob. All right. Now, we have a mobile phone up for grabs today from MLC in South Road. Ooh, bad luck. 22 was the mobile phone, and you're on 21. Sorry about that, but 21 is a fantastic prize. Now, do you own your own house?
No.
Well, this is going to be a ripper then for you. I think we'll have $500 worth of paving.
Oh, that's
good. That's good, particularly if you don't own your own house. 1,000 brick pavers. I don't know what you're going to do with them, but it's a great prize. Maybe Nikki and I could work something out with you from New Brick, but I'm sure, Jack Riddell, if you don't own your own, maybe someone else in your family would like some pavers.
Oh, we can see how we go, won't we?
Well, look, let's see how we go, because if you don't answer the question...
You don't get them.
You don't get them. So that'd be pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yep.
What's the question, Nick?
David Brown has played in 3 premiership sides with Port Adelaide. Name the years.
3 premiership sides with Port Adelaide.
Well, there was 1988.
88, yes.
Yep. 1989.
9 and
1992, I suppose.
92.
92.
Yes,
Well done, Bob.
right.
That was very good. And I tell you what, those brick pavers. Look, Jack Riddell, seeing that you don't own your own prize, Jack, we might be able to work something out there. We'll give him 2,000 brick pavers. Right, now, if you want to be on the Chairman's Wheel, Nikki, all you have to do is write in here to the Chairman's Wheel, Post Office Box 7, Walkerville 5081, and put your name and
address and phone number on the back of the envelope.
Thanks very much, Nick. Thanks,
You're
Bob.
welcome, Max.
Well, in this world of push and shove, he still got freedom in his heart. It's a rhythm of the highway. And city lights. I know what's happened behind those shining wheels. And she's a time for open ways. Well, I know what's happened.
Still thinking about that cargo in the ditch. Drove a little bit like John Riddell and his HQ Monaro. The vision there, of course, was from the Port Adelaide Odyssey Outback Bash. They finished last week in Broome. The boys raising not only a lot of money for Port Adelaide, but for the Crippled Children's Association. And last year they went to Daydream Island. I had the pleasure of going on that and had a hangover for about 2 months afterwards. Talking of local football, today Port Adelaide, after last week's bye, they take on North Adelaide at Football Park. Scott Hodges needs 8 for his ton. The other 2 games, Sturton Central at Adelaide Oval, and down at the Bay, Glenelg and West Adelaide. 3 teams got the bye, the Eagles, Nord and South. And our guest this week is Chris Whitman from South Adelaide. Now, Chris, we're trying to get some dirt on you from Dipper. You played at Hawthorn with Dipper, but he's very diplomatic. Now it's your turn. He's not coming back on the show. What can you tell us about him?
Well, Dipper's obviously a bit of a character, and I think he's fairly popular over here in Adelaide.
He keeps telling us how popular he is.
And that was one of the main reasons I came over here myself, actually, was to get away from him.
Well, I can understand that, and so can Curls. Now, things aren't going too well down at South at the moment. Your form's great. You're being tipped as a Maghera medal chance, but down at South, the team, things aren't going that well, are they?
Yeah, no, we started a little bit on the back foot. We lost a few games early, and then we came good. And Bruce, unfortunately, we've sort of had a bad last month, so you know, we're just hoping to rectify it the last couple of games.
Yeah, you had Ken Sheldon as a coach at St Kilda as well. Right. You sort of came over here at the same time he did. We had him in earlier in the year, and he's very intense. He loves his footy and has a very honest approach to it. Is that how you found him, both in the AFL and here?
Very much so, especially last year at St Kilda. He's got a real passion for the game, and I gave away my AFL footy last year, and he came to South, and it was really his passion that sort of convinced me to have another go and come over here. And that's sort of one of the main reasons I came to South Australia.
How are you finding the local footy here?
Very good. I've really enjoyed the standard, and I really think you know, the facilities and playing at Adelaide Oval has been fantastic, and just the whole feel for the competition over here has been fantastic.
Now, talking to Dipper earlier about you, he suggested that perhaps you should still be playing AFL football, and your form in the local league here would suggest that also. Do you sort of have a goal to get back into the AFL, either in a second team here or go back to Victoria?
Oh, I'm not really sure, Bruce. I really left AFL. I'd gone through a stage where I'd been playing for quite a few years, and I was injured quite a bit, and in and out sort of thing, with quite a few leg injuries, and I think the intensity took its toll a little bit just with the constant training, and I thought if I could just go back a notch and pick up the confidence again and just see what happens from there. So
and enjoy your football.
Yeah, enjoy it again and basically get through a season. Sort of haven't been injured this year, which has been great.
Now, your time at Hawthorn did include the 88-89 premierships. They must have been an absolute highlight in your football career. Yeah,
it's very, very lucky. You know, I was very, fortunate to go down to Hawthorn as a junior, sort of in those early 80s, and you know, be with those players